Welcome back to the vlog. We're going to be playing at Capital Casino. This is from the week of July 4th. So it's July 4th mostly. And then I had a couple extra hands from July 5th and 6th. Because if you didn't see it, you probably wouldn't believe it. I ran so pure these 3 days. Just about everything I played worked out. Didn't get into much trouble whatsoever. Never got cold decked. In fact, I think I cold decked a couple other people. Anyway, sit back, relax, enjoy. Here it comes. We're back at Capital Casino, buying for the 1-3 game for $500. Waited around for about 15 minutes before finally picking up a hand in the small blind. There's a $6 straddle this hand, 2 players limp, player on the button makes it 21. I decide to make it 80 and is folded back around to the straddler, who goes into the tank for a long time, and he's seriously contemplating something. I don't think it's folding. I think he's thinking about raising. So either he has a hand like ace, king, ace, queen, or maybe a pocket pair like queens, maybe jacks. I think he would raise with kings. But he finally decides on just a call. It's folded back around to the player on the button, who decides to put in the additional $59, and we're going to go 3 ways to a flop. So we got 255 in the center, looking for a favorable flop, maybe something with a jack in it. Wouldn't that be sweet? Instead, it comes 885, which is a pretty good flop for a pair of jacks. If no one has a bigger pair, I think I'm good. I don't think someone would call a raise with pocket 5s, maybe with pocket 8s, but what are the chances they're going to flop quads? So I decided to bet about half pot, so I make it $120. Now, if someone had something better than this, I expected them to probably raise. It's back over to the player who was in the straddle, and he thinks about this again for a long time. I'm going, man, I don't think he's thinking with ace king or ace queen, because I really should be pricing those hands out. Even with the backdoor flush draw, I think I'm pricing them out. So I'm hoping he has something like tens is going to make a crying call. But he decides on a fold. The other player calls.
All right. Okay, you got it.
I got an overpair. I got full house.
Oh, shit. All right, queen if you can.
You got queens?
Queens.
Wow.
I got tens.
You got tens?
Sick.
Now, even though the queens folded and I would have beat them when I caught my jack, the fact that I got the better hand to fold with a deep stack and the weaker hand to call with a short stack really makes me feel good about my bet. So we're off to a good start. Hopefully we can keep it going. So I knocked that one guy out with the pocket tens, and I moved over into his seat. I don't know whether that's a good luck or whether it's going to be bad luck, but we'll soon find out. I looked down at king jack suited, opened for a raise to 15. It's folded around to the player in the cutoff, who decides to put in the call. He has about 270 in his stack, so we got $34 in the pot, and we see a flop that comes king 10-5 with 2 hearts. Pretty good flop for king jack. I'm definitely going to continue here for $15. And he thinks about it for a little bit and decides to raise to $50. Now, when he does this, I'm not really happy with my hand. He could be doing this with a hand like king 10, pocket 5s, maybe some big combo flush draw. I don't think I can do much other than just call in this spot. I considered folding, in fact. The turn card comes as an 8 of diamonds. Doesn't really help my hand, but it doesn't complete the straight or flush draws. So it's possible that he just has a lone king or whether he's going to be betting his flush draw. He bets $85. Oh, God. It's good sizing on his part. I should probably fold because he's really representing a hand like king 10. But he could just have something like king, queen of diamonds. I'm still way behind. King, jack of diamonds. I'm tying with king 9 of diamonds. I'm ahead, but he has tons of equity. Anyway, I put in a very loose call, and we get rewarded with a jack of spades on the river. Needless to say, this is music to my ears, and I don't think he's going to be going anywhere. So I just jam. He snap calls. I roll over the top two, and he just lets his hand go. Said nice hand, not much more than that. So I think I got lucky. I think he had something like King 10, because he wouldn't be calling with a draw that missed. I'm running good. Well, that player ended up leaving, and we had a new player sit in his chair, and he bought in for $1,000, and after a little while, he was down to about 870. Here I look down at 2 jacks from the +1 position, opened for 15, get 2 callers for the 15, and now the player on the button makes it 60. I'm kind of torn between re-raising to, say, $180 and just flatting. And since he has a very deep stack, and I don't know exactly how he plays yet, only seen him play for a little while, I decided to spin the call. The other 2 players fold out, which is good, so now we're heads up. Flop comes 6-3 deuce with 2 hearts. I check it over. He leads, and leads fairly big. So 105. Yeah, what does this mean? Well, it could mean that he has a pair bigger than mine. It could mean he has ace king, ace queen, maybe with a heart draw. But there's a lot of c-bets he would do, and sometimes when people use an awfully big size, sometimes they're taking like a 1 stab and then giving up. So I decided to put in the call and see if he stabs again. Turn card comes as a 9 of clubs, real blank. He checks it back immediately, makes me feel like my hand is good. The 5 of diamonds now comes, and I should really bet this small for value, maybe trying to get a crying call out of ace high. He checks it back, I roll over, and he says, yeah, I missed, and he mucks. You know, even people running good get aces, and I've been running good all day long. Might as well try out the aces. Person to my right limps in, I raise to 20. It's folded around to the player on the button. He puts in the call. He has a fairly deep stack at this point. Player to my right has also a pretty good sized stack. Flop comes out, King 10-7 with 2 diamonds. Pretty good flop for our hand. We do not have the ace of diamonds, so it is possible that someone else has a draw at the nut flush. It's check to me. I bet $40. Both players ended up putting in the call, but the player to my right kind of hesitated, and it looked like he was thinking about folding. So I'm thinking he has some crazy, maybe a gut shot straight draw or something like that. Don't really consider him too much of a threat, especially when the 5 of clubs comes on the turn. He checks again. Now it's time to get some value. I'm either going to get value from someone with a king or someone with a straight or flush draw. And I figure let's size up a little bit because I don't think either one of those type of hands are going to be folding. So I decide on 145. The player at the other end of the table started playing around with his chips. Makes me think that he was thinking about either raising or what kind of odds he has if he completes his draw. So I'm holding my breath that he just puts in the call, because if he puts in a raise, it's probably going to be a hand like King 10 that I'm going to be looking at. Anyway, he decides on a call, so I figure it's all clear. He's probably on some sort of draw. Maybe he even has a king high flush draw. The other player folds out, and the river card comes as a 10 of spades. Now that kind of looks a little bit scary because it paired the board, but really it's a very safe card because it doesn't really complete any of the draws. I don't think he'd be calling with second pair for that size wager. So he either has a king that he will pay off with or a flush draw that I don't think he's going to try to bluff with. So I bet out 200. He quickly folds and said he was drawing for a flush. Played for about another 40 minutes or so. No real interesting hands for the rest of the session, but I did come back the following day and we had a few more. So I just added it into this vlog. Consider it bonus material. But before we get to it, let me talk to you about a meetup game that's going on this upcoming Saturday. It's going to be at Bankers Casino, which is in Salinas. That's just east of Monterey. So most people know where Monterey is. It's going to be a 2-5 game starting at 2 p.m. and going until 8. Also, there's going to be a tournament the following day where it's going to be a bounty tournament, and I'll be partaking in that along with Andrew Locke and Kenichi from KNPoker. They were kind enough to invite me down to help with this meetup game. I'm very honored to be working with them again, and I'm very happy to be working with Bankers Casino. So if you guys are in South San Jose area or anywhere in the South Bay area and want to come down and play some 2-5 with us, come on down. It's going to be a real good time. There's going to be drinks flowing, food to be eaten, and I can't run like this all the time. So you guys have a good shot at my money. Anyway, come on down. You can sign up on Poker Atlas, or you can give the casino a call. And I look forward to playing with you, and we'll have a good time. I'll see you down there next weekend. Well, I'm back at Capital Casino the following day. Very first hand I play in this 1-3 game with 500 in my stack is I got ace-king suited. There was a limp in front of me and another limp, and I raised to 20, and I end up getting 4 callers for the 20. So this pot is going to be 5 ways and a little over $100 in it. Flop comes out ace-7 deuce with 2 spades, and the ace is a club. So it's possible someone has like top pair and a flush draw. The big blind decides to lead right out into me for $55, which is a pretty good sized bet for leading into the pre-flop aggressor, especially with that many players. So I'm thinking that he must have something good. And since I don't have the ace of spades, I'm going, maybe he has aces with a flush draw. At least that's what my initial feeling is. Either that or he could have something like pocket sevens or pocket deuces. I mean, anything's possible. Everybody folds out and it's over to me. And here I am, top pair, top kicker. I can't fold, not for $55. I put in the call and now we're heads up to a turn, which is a 3 of clubs. Puts up an additional flush draw, but I really think that he has something like ace 10 of spades, ace jack of spades, something like that. He leads into me for $85. He has about 240 behind. And at this point, I think the only really thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be calling down no matter what he bets on the end. So if he has a flush draw, I want him to pay for it. So I go ahead and jam. He has about $240 behind. He tanks for quite a while and finally decides on letting it go. So I'm really pleased that this hand got through. He might have had a lot of equity, but I have the chips now. All right, there's one limper for middle position. The player in the cutoff puts in a raise to 15. And here I have king, queen offsuit. I can go either way between calling and raising. With the cutoff being the raiser, the aggressor, I decided to put in the raise to 45. And he puts in the call. So we're going to end up going heads up to a flop that comes king 7-5 rainbow. Pretty good flop for my particular hand. My opponent, though, likes his hand also. So he decides to lead right into me for $55. Seems like a fair price to me. I put in the call and we get to see a turn card, which is a 9 of spades. So we have a complete rainbow on board. It's on to my opponent. And he makes an odd size bet. He just grabs like a stack of chips and just moves them forward. And the dealer goes, "Do you want to count?" And I go, yeah, count's good, please. And she counts it out, and it's $176. It's a really big bet. I've seen him play a previous hand where he flopped a set. He didn't play it this way. I've seen a hand where he played top pair with a weak kicker in a similar fashion. So I'm thinking maybe he just has a king without a big kicker. Either that or he really has ace king and I'm like in real deep trouble. But I decided to put in the call and I catch a queen of hearts on the river. Beautiful card. He thinks for a moment and then decides to check. Naturally, I'm debating whether I'm going to just jam or make some sort of value bet. I think jamming makes sense, so I go all in for $358. He tanks, kind of puts in a little sigh and says, yeah, I can't go anywhere. I got to give you a call. So he tosses in the chips. I show him the 2 pair. He doesn't seem happy, but it wasn't like he just got beat with ace king. I mean, people, when they get beat with ace king like that, they would show it. So I'm not quite sure what he had. I'm thinking maybe he just had something like King Jack, King 10, and was kind of overplaying it. Either that or he has Ace King, and he has like the greatest emotional control of any player I played with in recent memory. He puts in the chips. I take it down. $1,300 pot. We might have sucked out. Don't know. Never saw his cards. So here's one of the hands I got from the next day. I have 2 jacks from the low jack. There's 1 limp. I raise to 20. It's folded around to the player on the button, who puts in a raise to 75. Now this player is not a tight player, and he puts in a lot of action. He has about $240 in his stack, and here I could flat, but with $240 in his stack, let's face it, the chips are going to go in one way or another. So after thinking about it for a moment, I just decided to jam. He puts in the very quick call, and we're off to see a run out. I think I'm up against Ace King or Ace Queen, especially when he says,
I have overs.
a true flip. After saying he had overs, I was shocked to see him turn over a 9 of hearts.
Overs? You only have a over. Oh! Oh, God. That's brutal.
Nice hand.
I got lucky again, but then again, I think I had karma on my side on that hand after he said he had overs. All right, these results are ridiculous. I'll be the first one to admit it. First day I won 1,070. Second day I won 715. Third day I won 920. And I wasn't there for a whole lot of hours. I was trying to get my vlog together to get out before I went on vacation, and I was spending a lot of time doing that and only a short time playing. And for those of you who are wondering how my vacation went, it went very well. It was a very relaxing time. My wife and I were able to get away, just the 2 of us, and we spent a week in Cabo, Mexico. Not only that, when I returned, my car has finally been fixed. My Tesla, which the battery pack went out on in February, finally is repaired, and it's back on the road. Thanks for watching. Really do appreciate your support. Don't forget, there's going to be a meetup game at Bankers Casino in Salinas. We'll be playing 2-5 No Limit Hold'em on Saturday from 2 to 8 p.m. And then on Sunday at 10 a.m. there's a $365 bounty tournament that I will be partaking in. So if you don't get me in the live games, you can always bust me out of the tournament and get some extra cash.